Hello everyone, welcome back. In part 3 of our series, we are talking about coping with change in software development. From shifting requirements to new tech, change is constant, but how do we manage it? Hit subscribe button and let's dive into it. So, today in this video, I am going to discuss about handling evolving changes, reducing cost of rework, software prototyping and incremental delivery. So let's start with our first topic, which is handling evolving changes. Change is inevitable in all large software projects. Business changes leads to new and changed system requirements. New technology open up new possibilities for improving implementations. Changing platforms require application changes. Change leads to rework. So, cost of change includes both rework, for example, reanalyzing requirements, as well as the cost of implementing new functionality. Change is a very important part of software development. So, for the first thing, here's reducing the cost of rework. So, let's discuss how to reduce the cost of rework. So, there are two ways. The first one is anticipation of change, and the second one is change tolerance. What is the first one then? So, change anticipation is where the software process includes activities that can anticipate possible changes before insignificant rework is required. For example, prototype system may be redeveloped to show some key features of the system to the customers. Now, what is change tolerance then? So, change tolerance is where the process is designed so that changes can be accommodated at relatively low cost. This normally involves some form of incremental development. Proposed changes may be implemented in increments that have not yet been developed. If this is impossible, then only one increment, a small part of system may have to alter to incorporate the change. Now comes, what is software prototyping? So the first thing is software prototyping is when a version of the system or the part of the system is developed quickly to check the customer's requirement and the feasibility of the decision designs. This approach supports change anticipation, which we have discussed in the previous slide. A prototype is an initial version of a system used to demonstrate concepts and try out design or options. Now, let me discuss what are the benefits of it. So, the first one is it improves system usability, a closer match to the user's real needs. Improved design quality. It improves maintainability. It reduces development efforts. Now, how to do this prototyping? So, there is a specific process by which we can do software prototyping. And here on the screen is an image of it. Let me explain one after the other all of this, each component. So, the first one is establish prototype objectives. So, what it does is it specifies what the aspects or what the system has to get. It purpose of prototype. It defines the goal that what the system actually needs to be done. The second one then is defining the prototype functionality. So here's the stage where it decides the features and the functionality of the system, what it needs to perform or what are the requirements are. The third one is develop prototype. Develop prototype is a partial prototype system. Then it is the evaluate prototype. So here it checks that the prototype which has made actually meets the specifications and the goal of the system and evaluate accordingly. After evaluating, it creates an evaluation report which summarizes all the findings and changes that needs to be done in the prototype or the system to meet its requirement. After developing a prototype, it comes like executable prototype, which is ready for testing. So the prototype which is ready for testing comes here as an executable prototype. Now then comes the outline definition. So an outline definition is the details, like what should be demonstrated or tested as a prototype. After doing the establishment of prototype objectives, it gives you prototyping plan. So prototyping plan is an outline of the key objectives, the goals to do what the prototype has to be done. So it is a plan that how to make a prototype. Now, there are four common types of prototyping which is used in software industries today. The first one is rapid or throwaway prototyping. Second one is evolutionary prototyping. Third one is incremental prototyping. And the fourth one is extreme prototyping. So let me discuss about throwaway prototyping. So throwaway prototyping is built to quickly test certain functionalities. That they should be discarded after development as they are not a good basis for production system. So basically throwaway prototype is making a prototype of single functionality and then checking that functionality only. Now let's discuss what is incremental delivery. So incremental delivery is where the system increments are delivered to the customers for the comments and experimentations. This supports both change avoidance and change tolerance. Rather than deliver the system as a single delivery, the development and delivery is broken down into increments which increment delivering part of required functionality. User requirements are prioritized and highest priority requirements are included in early increments. Only the development of the increment is staggered. The requirements are frozen through requirements for the later increments can be continued to evolve. Now, what is the process of incremental delivery? So, this is a diagram which represents how the incremental delivery is done. So the first one is define outline requirements. What it does is it initializes the high level requirements. Then comes assigning the requirements to increments. It divides overall requirements into smaller sets. Then is the design system architecture. This phase ensures that each increment fit to a larger system. Then is the develop system increment, in which each increment is developed incrementally and individually. Then comes the validate increment. So in this phase, testing is done for that particular increment and all the functionalities and the quality of the system is evaluated. Then is the integrate increment. In this, it is integrate it with previously developed increments. So suppose there is one previously developed increment. So in this phase, that increment is developed with the current increment. So making it integrate one with the other. Then comes validate system. So after the increments are evaluated at the single phase, the whole system is validated. So this states the increments that all those increments work together well. Then comes the deployment of the increment. So when we deploy it to the final world, it decides like whether the system is complete or incomplete. So if the system is complete, then the final system is developed, or if it is incomplete, that it goes back to the develop stage increment stage. Now let me discuss what are the advantages and disadvantages of incremental delivery. So this system allows for the flexibility of the system. Then comes customer value can be delivered with each increment, so system functionality is available earlier. Then early increments acts as a prototype to help elicit requirements for the later increments. There is a very low risk of overall project failures as the project is developed in increments. The highest priority system service tends to receive the most testing. But here are the disadvantages as well. Let me discuss the disadvantages of this system. So, most systems require a step of basic facility that are used by different parts of the system. Reusability will be very tough as the system is developed in increments and for the particular functionalities only. The essence of iterative process is that the specification is developed in conjunction with the software. This coincides with the procedure model of many organizations where the complete system specification is a part of the system development contract. So basically, incremental delivery breaks down development and deployment into manageable parts. So it breaks down the whole system into increments and develop accordingly. This is for this video. Thank you for listening me this patiently and thank you for watching me. Thank you so much.